Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name is Brendan. Here we teach that you can manifest anything if you can believe. Now, I just wanted to make this video to kind of clarify. I made a shorter video talking about one of my manifestation successes that was taking my girlfriend to the Eras Tour, a sold out show in Milan, getting floor seats for a spectacular price. And it was a story steeped in detachment, but I also had a vision of it soon before it actually fulfilled itself, which I found very, very interesting. So I wanted to share that with you. But first, of course, if you're new to manifestation, manifestation is the process of taking something purely mental, taking an idea and infusing it with the perspective, with the energy, with the consciousness that it is already true, it is already done, it is already a fact, and that allows it to come true. And you can do that in more ways than one. You'll find in this story that it wasn't so much the case that I was just believing it is done 24/7, but rather I even accepted the idea that it might not come true. And so it was off my mind, it was out of my hands, and completely able to be taken care of by the subconscious. So you'll have to decide, depending on what you're manifesting, what the easiest thing for you to do in order to detach and allow the easy, effortless, consistent manifestation of your desires to happen is. Okay, that'll be up to you. So that's why I make all these videos, so that you can get different understandings of how this law applies. It can be difficult to pin it down into an exact science, but I found that the thing that is most consistent is the sense of detachment, allowing yourself to live in a state of peace, joy, satisfaction without an ulterior motive, without doing it in order to try and make something happen, without doing it from a state of lack, instead of trying to force any actions, doing anything in any particular way, trying to force what you want to come. Detachment is just so, so powerful. So the story is this. Many, many months ago, my girlfriend, who is a fan of Taylor Swift, we're not like obsessed or anything, we're not Swifties, but she just really likes her songwriting, particularly in a couple albums. And so knowing that, of course, she wanted to go to the Eras Tour. It's a huge tour. It's like a 3-hour show, something probably unprecedented in, the music space. Artists don't really do that, but Taylor took this time to put together a long show that highlights each of her albums, instead of just, a regular show where you play your newest album and then your hits, right? She took the time to make this huge deal. So for that reason, it's something that's probably not going to be done again. It was a very unique experience. It's sold out pretty much everywhere. In America, sold out. All across the world, sold out. And that's pretty much what we saw when we looked for the tickets. We knew we wanted to manifest it. Of course, we're manifesting each and every experience. So whether it comes or not, it's the product of our minds, our beliefs, our imagination. But the process was pretty much, we checked online months ago, maybe even 6 months ago, and saw that the tickets anywhere we could possibly go to see her were being resold at ridiculous rates, like thousands of dollars per ticket, thousands of euros per ticket if we were looking in Italy. And it just was not worth it to us at the time. And we kind of came to terms with that because it was known there were scalpers, it was known there were people reselling the tickets to make a ton of money off of these fans, off of the opportunity to see this show, which would be a rare, once in a lifetime sort of experience. And so we accepted it. It wasn't that we accepted for sure that it wasn't going to happen, but instead we didn't let the idea of not going stop us from feeling happy, joyful, satisfied. We didn't abide in a state of regret or sadness or fear or wondering how it's going to happen or if it's going to happen. We kind of decided to be okay whether it happened or not. And that can be tricky to wrap your mind around when it comes to detachment, but it's really, really powerful because when you demonstrate that you are going to be all right, that you are okay, you are satisfied, whether your desire comes true physically or not, then you are actually coming from a place of power, and it actually aligns with a state of fulfillment. Because if something is already done, how much do you care if that thing happens? If something is already done, you're not focused on if something's going to happen. You're not focused on how something's going to happen. You're not feeling bad because it might not happen. It doesn't make sense. So by becoming okay, whether the desire would be fulfilled or not, we became okay with any outcome, and therefore we aligned ourselves with the state of consciousness of having it. Okay, without overthinking it, without imagining it every single night, without wondering, are we affirming robotically enough? Are we saying it 10,000 times? None of that. None of that work, none of that effort, none of that forcing. We simply imagined it originally, checked the prices, and decided, you know what? It's not worth it to us. That's okay. And let it go. And in that time, I hadn't really imagined for it anymore. My girlfriend had a few times. She would just, as she watched maybe a live replay of the show on YouTube, she would imagine being there in the crowd, which actually ended up being exactly where we were when we went to the show. But the strange thing is, the night before we went, the night we booked the tickets, it's, middle of the day. I was tired, kind of jet lagged because we had just come to Italy from America. And so I took a nap in the middle of the day. So did she. But in that nap, I actually dreamt for some reason. We were at the show. We were at the Eras Tour. It was before it started, and we were in the very front. And I was talking for some reason to Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. And we were speaking as though we were friends. We were speaking like there was nothing, no big deal. I wasn't a fan or anything. I really don't care for this sort of thing. But just because my girlfriend likes the music, I wanted to take her to this experience. Remember that. So I was there and speaking with them, and they were like signing stuff, and everything was cool. We were all buddy buddy. And behind me are my girlfriend and my sister, and they're both asking me, why are they so cool with you? Why are they so chill with you? And I said, because I don't care. That's what I said. I was so steeped to detachment. That's really where I'm at right now. It's the most important thing in my life to me right now because it's the most powerful and helpful thing I've ever done for myself and I've ever shared with anyone. But doing that, I just said, it's because I don't care. And then shortly after, I woke up. And then within a matter of hours, she's watching the show for Taylor's first night in Milan. She had 2 nights in Milan. And so she's watching the show, and I decide, just because she's watching it, let's see what the tickets are for tomorrow. Let's see if I could put together an Airbnb and get the tickets for Trenitalia, that's the train system over here, and let's just see. And I check, and I have to check multiple sources to make sure it's not a scam, but the prices are significantly lower. Instead of being thousands of euros per ticket, it's just a couple hundred. Okay, and so that's much more doable, much more worth it. And it's pretty much probably the last chance we're going to have to go because we're both in Italy. The rest of the tour, she's going in other places around the world. So it really was the only way it could happen, and it just came together so quickly. So we had a quick discussion, just figuring out exactly how we wanted to do it, if we could really make this happen with, very little sleep. And so we end up booking everything, packing everything, going to sleep about 3 a.m. in order to get up, make a 9 a.m. train. We get there, we get set up in the Airbnb, and we go to the show, and everything works out. Everything came together in such a way I couldn't have possibly planned it. I couldn't have possibly organized it consciously. It was the power of the subconscious mind which became unlocked by being okay with it happening or not. Okay, and that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. If you're using this as an example for you to manifest something, it doesn't mean that you believe what you want isn't going to come. Ideally, if you want to do it how I do it, then you will impose within your mind, impress within your subconscious, a knowing that if something doesn't work out, it's because something better is coming. That way, you can actually, not faking it, not trying to pretend, oh, I'm okay either way. It doesn't matter if it happens or not. No, not faking it, not pretending. You actually know the best thing is always coming to you. Everything is always working out for you. Okay, this is where I find the middle ground sort of between law of attraction and law of assumption, because statements like that you often hear from Abraham Hicks. Everything's always working out for me. And that's also an assumption. It's a powerful assumption. So by having that assumption, I became actually okay whether that desire or any desire comes true or not. And by actually knowing that, by actually doing that, I'm not preoccupied in my mind. I'm not trying to figure out the how, the when, the if. I am abiding actually in the same state I would be in if it already happened and it was no big deal. That's a state of naturalness. Neville Goddard talks about that all the time. The time it takes your desire to become fulfilled physically, manifested, is directly proportionate to the feeling of naturalness that it is already done. So, in a sort of roundabout way, but really it's through detachment, we became completely natural with the feeling that everything is taken care of. There's no reason to place our ability to feel joy, satisfaction, fulfillment on a physical condition. It comes from within. We're okay either way. And what do you know? Out of nowhere, the last minute, you think you've accepted that it can't happen, and the subconscious mind puts it together, makes things happen. It's beautiful. So I hope this story demonstrates to you that things are possible. Even when you think it's coming down to the last moments, you think there's no way, you can. Don't lose faith. Understand that you can have it all. And if you don't get what you want exactly, something better is coming. And that's the truth. So I'm sure you found this helpful. If you want to learn my exact method of detachment to manifest wonderful things like this, check out the Manifestation Mastery System. I'll leave a link in the pinned comment and the description. As always, thank you so much for watching. I love you all very much, and I will see you next time. Take care. So this is recorded post-editing, post-recording of the original video, but I just reviewed it with my girlfriend, and it turns out I was the only one that was detached. She was actually pretty attached, pretty disappointed about the idea of not going. So that's a good reminder that being okay with it, being actually okay with it, because I'm not a Swiftie, I don't care about that stuff, creates miracles. It really does. So if you can make that happen in your mind, recognize this physical world is an illusion, so nothing should really be on the pedestal for you. You put yourself on the pedestal and you make magic happen, okay? The other thing I want to add is that even the trains, okay, we had to jump trains 3 times on our trip to Milan, and there were some where we only had a couple minutes to make it, and sometimes they're late, and if they're late, you got to book another train. But to Milan and back, we made every single train, even when it seemed like we couldn't. And I'm telling you, like that's kind of rare for a trip in Trenitalia if you know the system. So have faith. Know that powerful things are happening all the time, and they will.